Yeah. Um, I guess this is just another update. It's currently September. I don't know. It's Wednesday. No, it's Tuesday. I think probably September 23 or something. That's 25. And so it's currently 2 a.m. in the morning. I haven't slept yet, and I know it's unhealthy. But I decided to play games with my friends, and I played for I don't know 9 hours, 10 hours straight. I think it was 9 hours. And I know I wasted a perfectly good day, or what should have been a perfect good day. But there's really no point in going back the time that I wasted. Instead, I would just acknowledge that I enjoyed that time with them. And tomorrow we have no classes because, well, there's a typhoon and our classes are suspended. And so it's another day of me having to sit around the house being alone. And so I would just like to discuss one of my recurring thoughts. The whole day I've been thinking about, she's probably talking to some other guys now. But I know I shouldn't think of that. One, because whoever she talks to is not my concern, and I don't control her. Two, the more that I think about it, the more that it is unhealthy for me. I'm sure there are more multiple reasons that I haven't said, but those are the two main reasons that I think that I just want to say. It still, it still lingers around, but you know, from time to time, I can't help but look back and, oh man, my throat is really dry. But yeah, like I said, I can't help but look back at the situation that I have missed, or the things that I've thought about. And I understand that whatever it is in my thoughts are not dangerous and does not intend to harm her. But I realized, when I had these thoughts, it did hurt her. And so I try my best not to think about it too much. But, I still can't help it. I was watching this YouTube short earlier this day, uh, or yesterday rather. It was about Ryan Holiday discussing something about Stoicism. He said something about being concerned of what was. I think it was something about a philosopher who had a lamp, a priceless lamp. It had sentimental value, and someone stole the lamp. And instead of being sentimental about the lamp, the philosopher just chose to buy a new one. And, he is not possessive of things, or at least is not, really concerned if something, what he had before he lost, I don't know what exactly the exact words are. I don't know. I forgot which philosopher he was referring to, but it goes something like that. And so I realized, why am I so concerned about? I never really had her. She was never mine to begin with. And so I started to get a clear headspace, I realized that, wait, she was never mine to begin with, so why am I concerned of losing her? Or maybe a part of me, my brain thinks that I am losing the idea that I had of her. you know, they say that she shouldn't live in fantasies of our minds. We shouldn't over imagine things because we may live through it. Oh, my speaker just turned off. Anyway, we may live through it, and we set unrealistic expectations for the things that we think about. And so, as much as I try not to think about those thoughts that I mentioned earlier, it's really hard. But I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. But it's still hard. It's not something that I could, you know, say that, oh, I can avoid it. No, I can't. It's just doesn't work that way for me. Maybe some people can, but not me. I think I cared. I did care for her, which is why I still think about it. But they say if you really care for someone, and you know that these thoughts, did hurt them, so why have these thoughts in the first place? I'm contradicting myself, am I? But the point is, I'm trying. And trying not to get myself too attached with the idea that I had of her. And it made my day a little bit better. Today was a little bit of a roller coaster. I had my downside in the morning and I had my good side in the afternoon. And, now I'm just back on the plateau. I plateaued the energy, they're back on normal. And, as I lie down, I thought about, I don't want to be awake. And I don't want to sleep either. Because when I'm awake, I keep having these thoughts. And, when I'm asleep, I keep having those dreams. And, like I said before, whenever I wake up in the morning, I read the last message that she left me. And, it hurts my heart every day. But, you may ask, hey, why are you doing this to yourself? Why do you keep reading that message? Why can't you just move on? Well, first, I know that I have a lot of things to fix about myself. And that this message that she left for me is something that I committed myself to have as a reminder every day of what I needed to fix. And for me, this is in an active act of fixing and healing myself. We always talk about healing our trauma and, processing our thoughts. Maybe it's time to take control of some things that you can't control. I can't control. I will not let time do its thing. I will just, well, of course, time is still something and it is a factor, but, I wouldn't wait for another relationship for it to be fixed. I would rather fix this myself right now, instead of waiting for someone before I fix it. And so, yeah, I am subjecting myself to this kind of, I wouldn't call this painful. It does sting, but I know I just have to sit with this and get comfortable enough with the feeling that I've made those mistakes and that I am only human. There are good sides to this event that had transpired in my life. I feel like there was another relationship before. There was this girl, and we used to call for like 2 years or so. And she knew that I liked her. And long story short, things got out of hand. But without this very event that had happened to me, I wouldn't think we would have a closure for one another because I did message her, the girl from the past, and I felt like after long years, maybe 5 years, a long overdue apology was exchanged between one another. And I feel like, there's no need to recreate or you know, kindle the friendship or the relationship. It's just that we are just both people that look at the situations that have happened in the past and we smile on it and we just laugh on it. It's like when we meet each other in the future, we would just talk about how silly we were in the past. I think without these things that have been happening to me, I wouldn't have, you know, we wouldn't have this closure for the both of us. And I was really moved by that. I was really touched by that because that's one loose end tied, right? And so I have uploaded a lot of videos today, mainly because I find this more comforting. And good news again, I didn't resort to my old coping mechanism, to my unhealthy habits, and I'm a little bit proud because every time I think of doing something or committing an act of unhealthy coping mechanism, I just think about the message and I just stand up and do some other things. It was hard. It's really hard to deal with all these things, dealing with my trauma, dealing with how I cope with my trauma, and dealing with the emotions that I feel along the way. It's heavy, it's difficult, and add to that even if I am on call with my friends, I still feel lonely. Maybe because it's not a company that I need. Maybe it's the ability for me to enjoy the presence of myself within myself. And I don't really have any idea on how to do that. I don't have a clue on what to do or how to start enjoying my presence alone. Sure, people would say, do the things that you love. I guess the only thing that I know that I enjoy, that I'm alone, is when I'm riding out with my motorcycle, because nature and long rides makes me happy. But I can't always afford to go out, right? Because riding out takes a lot of gas, and gas is something that is not cheap. Maybe, this is where the time part comes in. Maybe I'll let time take its job and do its job, and maybe somewhere along the way I'll find myself enjoying myself. Or maybe I am enjoying myself right now. I just didn't know it yet. But I would like to promise this to myself. Somewhere along the way, at some point, maybe 6 months, 1 year, I don't know. My face looks shit. I know that I'll be a whole person, and I promise myself that I will be a healthy adult. I will foster healthy relationships with people, healthy relationships with myself, and I promise myself to foster positivity and anything that is good. Because, my whole life I feel like I'm manifest my whole life I feel like I'm manifested having a partner and money and luxury. But never have I ever manifested fostering healthy relationship with myself or healthy relationships with people. I've always read about, understanding human nature. But I never really understood what my nature is. So I guess that makes sense. Oh, I found this book at the library, or the bookstore rather. It's called The Book of Boundaries by Melissa Urban. I don't have the budget yet, but when I do get the chance, I'll buy that book. And that's something that I have to read. Because I believe the first step, I guess, that I'll be working on for myself is working on my boundaries. There are things that I have to enforce. It's time for me to take care of myself better and learn how to become an efficient, a healthy human being. Instead of always saying yes to people, instead of always giving in to people, I will master the art of becoming a human being. I know this sounds silly, but some people just don't have it, Not all people are born with it, that they already know how to become a good, healthy person. Or maybe we all are healthy when we are born. It's just that the environment that we grew up in is toxic. Am I having a stroke? Face. I'm not having a stroke yet. Yeah, I'm not having a stroke yet. I'm glad. Whew. My jaw felt like it locked there somewhere. Anyway, I don't feel like sleeping. This video made me feel a little bit better about myself. When I lie down, I thought that I don't want to wake up, I don't want to sleep, but now I feel a little better just by talking to myself. I guess that's the power of self affirmations. then again, no matter how hard I try, at the end of the day, I will never achieve the perfect version of me. And whatever it is that happens to me, whatever bad things that have happened to me in the past, or what will happen to me in the future, is not something that I should blame myself unless I really did commit bad things. But going down on a deeper level of compassion and love for oneself, I don't want to blame myself for the things that I didn't intentionally do. Because I believe that all the relationships, all the women that I've liked before, my intention was just take care of them. My intentions were just treat them and love them the very best that I can. Because that is something that I was not able to do. Now that I realized it, my whole life I've been a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser sucks. I remember the day that my mom left us. When my dad and my mom got separated, I was there down the stairs. And I was crying. I was crying. I was begging. But I was powerless. I was powerless that time. And I feel like deep inside of me, unconsciously, I wanted to make sure that everyone that I love will never leave me. That is why every woman that I've liked, this is especially true for women, not because I'm a simp, but because I think it's related to my mother. I don't blame my mom, nor the circumstances she put herself in. She may be pressured, or, there are a lot of factors. But, like I said, I think all of this roots from that part of my childhood. It doesn't ache right now, but it did affect a lot of the relationships that I have, including my coping mechanisms. With every girl that I liked, I overdone things. I worked so hard. I put in all the effort. And, putting all the effort and just the attention you giving to them pushes them away instead of pulling them towards you. And that is not something that I reflected, not until now. Because back then I didn't know that it was from my trauma, from my childhood. But now that I realized it, I hope that I get to fix this issue of mine. At the end of the day, I still believe that a part of me, even in the past, just wanted to be understood. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie. My mom left us when I was a kid. I was born in a family of toxic masculinity and violence. I wouldn't say that it's physical abuse. No, none of my family did physical abuse. I think, we got slapped by hangers and broke hangers and belts, but that is okay. But most of my actions, I think, rooted from those, and the upbringing and the lack of attention that my parents gave me because they are both working. I just realized that every day they would just leave for work, and I would say goodbye to them. And I am taken care of by, uh, what do you call those in English? I forgot. Babysitter. Yeah, okay. It's taking care of babysitters, and babysitters are really different from parents' attention, and I didn't really get much attention from my parents. And my brother, well, I don't want to blame my brother. I don't want my brother to sound bad in this story. Neither do my parents. But my brother's a different one. I think all of the frustrations that come in his life, when he was young, he poured it all into me. And, as a child, you don't know any better. And, all the frustrations that your brother has put you into has somehow affected you later in life, that which I'm not going to discuss right now, but I know what are the things. These circumstances, all of this I'm saying, I'm not saying to sound like a victim. I'm just, I guess, reflecting on the root of all these problems. I'm just trying to figure out where this come from. It's been a rough childhood, you know. But it is what it is. It is what I have. Do I wish that I could have done better? Absolutely. But I wouldn't have learned these lessons otherwise. This video is about the longest video that I make. I think I'm gonna post this one right now. I don't want to say too much, but I still like to reflect more. So I think I'm gonna make a separate video about it. I don't know, who knows. Anyway, if you make it this far, and if you enjoyed this video, I would like to thank you, and I am grateful for your attention span. Most of people wouldn't make it past 1 minute mark because of their short attention span. I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm still thankful and grateful that you're here, that you listen to my blabbering and my bullshit. And if you are going through something, I just want to let you know that it will be alright. Just let time heal you. And, life is fucking amazing. Yeah. That's it. Bye bye.